cập www.startupwheel.vn để đăng ký tham gia ngay.
Thời thượng cùng bánh phô mai Castella từ Kido's Bakery, mềm mịn như mây. Phô mai hòa quyện. Kido's Bakery, thưởng thức thời thượng. Cùng Kido's Bakery mang đến hành trình tươi mới. Hiện đại cùng bánh chà bông sốt Singapore, chà bông đậm đà, sốt bơ béo thơm. Kido's Bakery, thưởng thức thời thượng.
Tương An Premium, tuyệt phẩm dầu đậu nành thượng hạng, đột phá với 7 bước tinh luyện công nghệ châu Âu, loại bỏ tạp chất có hại, lưu giữ tối ưu dưỡng chất, tinh khiết tuyệt đối, khám phá ngay.
Đời ngon như kem Merino và Celano, đời ngon như kem quay quanh bên người thân bạn bè, đời ngon như kem Merino và Celano, đời ngon như kem nhâm nhi quê đi hết áp lực, đời ngon như kem ăn một miếng có sức bung lụa, đời ngon như kem Merino và Celano.
Đời ngon như kem Merino và Celano, thưởng thức ngay.
Khoảnh khắc nào ta thấy được vẻ đẹp giữa đời thường? Khi chuyện yêu ngày xưa vẫn lấp lánh đến hôm nay. Khi mỹ quyền không cần khuôn mẫu, cá tính nào cũng tỏa sáng nét đẹp riêng. Khi tình thân thêm gần nhờ thấu hiểu, trao yêu thương bởi quan tâm chân thành. Đời thường đẹp từ những gói ghém thường ngày cho tương lai rộng mở. Đời thường đẹp từ những giá trị đẹp trong gian khó lan tỏa tốt lành. 35 năm rạng rỡ giữa đời thường, nhận về muôn niềm tin, chứng kiến ngàn vẻ đẹp. Chúng tôi tự hào khơi gợi cảm hứng cho mỗi người, tự tin yêu cái đẹp trong mình. Nuôi dưỡng giá trị đẹp của cuộc sống. Lan tỏa điều tốt đẹp đến cộng đồng. Để mọi vẻ đẹp đều được tôn vinh, để những khoảnh khắc đẹp bền bỉ theo năm tháng, để đời thường đẹp từ những chuyện đời rất thường. P&J 35 năm giữ trọn niềm tin, tôn vinh vẻ đẹp.
Easy tự động tạo, duyệt chi phí với quy trình tinh gọn. Bạn chỉ cần đưa QR code trên điện thoại để nhân viên quét. Chúng tôi sẽ tự động thu thập hóa đơn về ứng dụng nhanh chóng và dễ dàng, giúp doanh nghiệp quản lý chi phí chặt chẽ trên hệ thống ở cả hai phiên bản điện thoại và máy tính. Quản trị viên có thể quản lý toàn bộ danh sách thẻ với đầy đủ thông tin. Chúng tôi giúp doanh nghiệp chủ động kiểm soát ngân sách. Dashboard thể hiện trực quan ngân sách doanh nghiệp, tập trung giải quyết khó khăn quản lý chi tiêu doanh nghiệp ngay trên một nền tảng. Để mọi chi phí trong tầm kiểm soát của bạn, chọn BSSC, Thành Thời quản lý công ty.
Giải tích với sứ mệnh giúp doanh nghiệp quản trị hiệu quả và phát triển bền vững dựa trên sức mạnh tri thức công nghệ. Là tổ chức hàng đầu cung cấp giải pháp toàn diện trong quản trị và vận hành doanh nghiệp vừa và lớn như ERP Oracle Suite, ERP SAP, CRM, MES, Business Planning, Data Warehouse, IoT.
Bạn đam mê khởi nghiệp. Bạn muốn định vị dự án của mình trên bản đồ khởi nghiệp quốc tế. Bạn tin rằng dự án sẽ góp phần thay đổi thế giới. Startup Wheel, trình tăng tốc khởi nghiệp tốt nhất, cuộc thi khởi nghiệp lớn nhất Đông Nam Á, dành cho mọi đối tượng, không giới hạn độ tuổi, giới tính, địa lý, lĩnh vực. Môi trường huấn luyện khởi nghiệp chuyên sâu. Cơ hội trình bày, phản biện, thuyết phục nhà đầu tư. Thử thách về thương hiệu, thị trường, marketing, sàn giao dịch và đầu tư khởi nghiệp. Kết nối hệ sinh thái khởi nghiệp trong nước, khu vực, quốc tế. Tổng giá trị giải thưởng lên đến 10 tỷ đồng. Bảng Việt Nam. Một giải nhất 400 triệu đồng, một giải nhì 200 triệu đồng, một giải ba 150 triệu đồng, một giải dự án sáng tạo nhất 120 triệu đồng, một giải dự án được yêu thích nhất 30 triệu đồng, một giải sinh viên khởi nghiệp xuất sắc nhất 30 triệu đồng, một giải nữ founder xuất sắc nhất 30 triệu đồng, một giải thí sinh khởi nghiệp ấn tượng nhất 30 triệu đồng. Bạn quốc tế, tổng giá trị giải thưởng lên đến 2 tỷ đồng. Và những cơ hội tiếp cận các nguồn quỹ đầu tư tài chính hàng đầu, các nguồn lực tăng tốc khởi nghiệp uy tín trong và ngoài nước, các chương trình đào tạo khởi nghiệp hữu hiệu, chuyên sâu. Nguyên bản hay giao thoa, đa màu hay đơn sắc. Giờ là lúc Startup Wheel hiên ngang bước sang chương mới. Con tàu Startup Wheel đến hàng đài ra khơi. Truy cập www.startupwheel.vn để đăng ký tham gia ngay.
Thời thượng cùng bánh phô mai Castella từ Kidos Bakery, mềm mịn như mây. Phô mai hòa quyện. Kidos Bakery, thưởng thức thời thượng. Kidos Bakery mang đến hành trình tươi mới. Hiện đại cùng bánh chà bông sốt Singapore, chà bông đậm đà, sốt bơ béo thơm. Kidos Bakery, thưởng thức thời thượng.
Tương An Premium, tuyệt phẩm dầu đậu nành thượng hạng, đột phá với 7 bước tinh luyện công nghệ châu Âu, loại bỏ tạp chất có hại, lưu giữ tối ưu dưỡng chất, tinh khiết tuyệt đối, khám phá ngay.
Đời ngon như kem Merino và Celano, đời ngon như kem quay quanh bên người thân bạn bè. Đời ngon như kem Merino và Celano, đời ngon như kem nhâm nhi quê đi hết áp lực. Đời ngon như kem ăn một miếng có sức bung lụa. Đời ngon như kem Merino và Celano.
Đời ngon như kem Merino và Celano, thưởng thức ngay.
Khoảnh khắc nào ta thấy được vẻ đẹp giữa đời thường? Khi chuyện yêu ngày xưa vẫn lấp lánh đến hôm nay. Khi mỹ quyền không cần khuôn mẫu, cá tính nào cũng tỏa sáng nét đẹp riêng. Khi tình thân thêm gần nhờ thấu hiểu, trao yêu thương bởi quan tâm chân thành. Đời thường đẹp từ những gói ghém thường ngày cho tương lai rộng mở. Đời thường đẹp từ những giá trị đẹp trong gian khó lan tỏa tốt lành. 35 năm rạng rỡ giữa đời thường, nhận về muôn niềm tin, chứng kiến ngàn vẻ đẹp. Chúng tôi tự hào khơi gợi cảm hứng cho mỗi người, tự tin yêu cái đẹp trong mình. Nuôi dưỡng giá trị đẹp của cuộc sống. Lan tỏa điều tốt đẹp đến cộng đồng. Để mọi vẻ đẹp đều được tôn vinh, để những khoảnh khắc đẹp bền bỉ theo năm tháng, để đời thường đẹp từ những chuyện đời rất thường. BSSC 35 năm giữ trọn niềm tin, tôn vinh vẻ đẹp.
Busy tự động tạo, duyệt chi phí với quy trình tinh gọn. Bạn chỉ cần đưa QR code trên điện thoại để nhân viên quét. Chúng tôi sẽ tự động thu thập hóa đơn về ứng dụng nhanh chóng và dễ dàng, giúp doanh nghiệp quản lý chi phí chặt chẽ trên hệ thống ở cả hai phiên bản điện thoại và máy tính. Quản trị viên có thể quản lý toàn bộ danh sách thẻ với đầy đủ thông tin. Chúng tôi giúp doanh nghiệp chủ động kiểm soát ngân sách. Dashboard thể hiện trực quan ngân sách doanh nghiệp, tập trung giải quyết khó khăn quản lý chi tiêu doanh nghiệp ngay trên một nền tảng. Để mọi chi phí trong tầm kiểm soát của bạn, chọn Busy, Thành Thời quản lý công ty.
Giải tích với sứ mệnh giúp doanh nghiệp quản trị hiệu quả và phát triển bền vững dựa trên sức mạnh tri thức công nghệ. Là tổ chức hàng đầu cung cấp giải pháp toàn diện trong quản trị và vận hành doanh nghiệp vừa và lớn như ERP Oracle Suite, ERP SAP, CRM, MES, Business Planning, Data Warehouse, IoT.
Bạn đam mê khởi nghiệp. Bạn muốn định vị dự án của mình trên bản đồ khởi nghiệp quốc tế. Bạn tin rằng dự án sẽ góp phần thay đổi thế giới. Startup Wheel, trình tăng tốc khởi nghiệp tốt nhất, cuộc thi khởi nghiệp lớn nhất Đông Nam Á, dành cho mọi đối tượng, không giới hạn độ tuổi, giới tính, địa lý, lĩnh vực. Môi trường huấn luyện khởi nghiệp chuyên sâu. Cơ hội trình bày, phản biện, thuyết phục nhà đầu tư. Thử thách về thương hiệu, thị trường, marketing, sàn giao dịch và đầu tư khởi nghiệp. Kết nối hệ sinh thái khởi nghiệp trong nước, khu vực, quốc tế. Tổng giá trị giải thưởng lên đến 10 tỷ đồng. Bảng Việt Nam. Một giải nhất 400 triệu đồng, một giải nhì 200 triệu đồng, một giải ba 150 triệu đồng, một giải dự án sáng tạo nhất 120 triệu đồng, một giải dự án được yêu thích nhất 30 triệu đồng, một giải sinh viên khởi nghiệp xuất sắc nhất 30 triệu đồng, một giải nữ founder xuất sắc nhất 30 triệu đồng, một giải thí sinh khởi nghiệp ấn tượng nhất 30 triệu đồng. Bạn quốc tế, tổng giá trị giải thưởng lên đến 2 tỷ đồng. Và những cơ hội tiếp cận các nguồn quỹ đầu tư tài chính hàng đầu, các nguồn lực tăng tốc khởi nghiệp uy tín trong và ngoài nước, các chương trình đào tạo khởi nghiệp hữu hiệu, chuyên sâu. Nguyên bản hay giao thoa, đa màu hay đơn sắc. Giờ là lúc Startup Wheel hiên ngang bước sang chương mới. Con tàu Startup Wheel đến hàng đài ra khơi. Truy cập www.startupwheel.vn để đăng ký tham gia ngay.
Thời thượng cùng bánh phô mai Castella từ Kidos Bakery, mềm mịn như mây. Phô mai hoa quyện. Kidos Bakery, thưởng thức thời thượng. Cùng Kidos Bakery mang đến hành trình tươi mới. Hiện đại cùng bánh chà bông sốt Singapore, chà bông đậm đà, sốt bơ béo thơm. Kidos Bakery, thưởng thức thời thượng.
Tương An Premium, tuyệt phẩm dầu đậu nành thượng hạng, đột phá với 7 bước tinh luyện công nghệ châu Âu, loại bỏ tạp chất có hại, lưu giữ tối ưu dưỡng chất, tinh khiết tuyệt đối, khám phá ngay.
Đời ngon như kem Merino và Celano, đời ngon như kem quay quần bên người thân bạn bè, đời ngon như kem Merino và Celano, đời ngon như kem nhâm nhi quê đi hết áp lực, đời ngon như kem ăn một miếng có sức bung lụa, đời ngon như kem Merino và Celano.
Đời ngon như kem Merino và Celano, thưởng thức ngay.
Khoảnh khắc nào ta thấy được vẻ đẹp giữa đời thường? Khi chuyện yêu ngày xưa vẫn lấp lánh đến hôm nay. Khi mỹ quyền không cần khuôn mẫu, cá tính nào cũng tỏa sáng nét đẹp riêng. Khi tình thân thêm gần nhờ thấu hiểu, trao yêu thương bởi quan tâm chân thành. Đời thường đẹp từ những gói ghém thường ngày cho tương lai rộng mở. Đời thường thường đẹp từ những giá trị đẹp trong gian khó lan tỏa tốt lành. 35 năm rạng rỡ giữa đời thường, nhận về muôn niềm tin, chứng kiến ngàn vẻ đẹp. Chúng tôi tự hào khơi gợi cảm hứng cho mỗi người, tự tin yêu cái đẹp trong mình. Nuôi dưỡng giá trị đẹp của cuộc sống. Lan tỏa điều tốt đẹp đến cộng đồng. Để mọi vẻ đẹp đều được tôn vinh, để những khoảnh khắc đẹp bền bỉ theo năm tháng, để đời thường đẹp từ những chuyện đời rất thường. P&J 35 năm giữ trọn niềm tin, tôn vinh vẻ đẹp.
Busy tự động tạo, duyệt chi phí với quy trình tinh gọn. Bạn chỉ cần đưa QR code trên điện thoại để nhân viên quét. Chúng tôi sẽ tự động thu thập hóa đơn về ứng dụng nhanh chóng và dễ dàng, giúp doanh nghiệp quản lý chi phí chặt chẽ trên hệ thống ở cả hai phiên bản điện thoại và máy tính. Quản trị viên có thể quản lý toàn bộ danh sách thẻ với đầy đủ thông tin. Chúng tôi giúp doanh nghiệp chủ động kiểm soát ngân sách. Dashboard thể hiện trực quan ngân sách doanh nghiệp, tập trung giải quyết khó khăn quản lý chi tiêu doanh nghiệp ngay trên một nền tảng. Để mọi chi phí trong tầm kiểm soát của bạn, chọn Busy, Thành Thời quản lý công ty.
Giải thích với sứ mệnh giúp doanh nghiệp quản trị hiệu quả và phát triển bền vững dựa trên sức mạnh tri thức công nghệ. Là tổ chức hàng đầu cung cấp giải pháp toàn diện trong quản trị và vận hành doanh nghiệp vừa và lớn như ERP Oracle Suite, ERP SAP, CRM, MES, Business Planning, Data Warehouse, IoT.
Bạn đam mê khởi nghiệp. Bạn muốn định vị dự án của mình trên bản đồ khởi nghiệp quốc tế. Bạn tin rằng dự án sẽ góp phần thay đổi thế giới. Startup Wheel trình tăng tốc khởi nghiệp tốt nhất, cuộc thi khởi nghiệp lớn nhất Đông Nam Á, dành cho mọi đối tượng, không giới hạn độ tuổi, giới tính, địa lý, lĩnh vực. Môi trường huấn luyện khởi nghiệp chuyên sâu. Cơ hội trình bày, phản biện, thuyết phục nhà đầu tư. Thử thách về thương hiệu, thị trường, marketing, sàn giao dịch và đầu tư khởi nghiệp. Kết nối hệ sinh thái khởi nghiệp trong nước, khu vực, quốc tế. Tổng giá trị giải thưởng lên đến 10 tỷ đồng. Bảng Việt Nam. Một giải nhất 400 triệu đồng, một giải nhì 200 triệu đồng, một giải ba 150 triệu đồng, một giải dự án sáng tạo nhất 120 triệu đồng, một giải dự án được yêu thích nhất 30 triệu đồng, một giải sinh viên khởi nghiệp xuất sắc nhất 30 triệu đồng, một giải nữ founder xuất sắc nhất 30 triệu đồng, một giải thí sinh khởi nghiệp ấn tượng nhất 30 triệu đồng. Bạn quốc tế, tổng giá trị giải thưởng lên đến 2 tỷ đồng. Và những cơ hội tiếp cận các nguồn quỹ đầu tư tài chính hàng đầu. các nguồn lực tăng tốc khởi nghiệp uy tín trong và ngoài nước, các chương trình đào tạo khởi nghiệp hữu hiệu, chuyên sâu, nguyên bản hay giao thoa, đa màu hay đơn sắc. Giờ là lúc Startup Wheel hiên ngang bước sang chương mới. Con tàu Startup Wheel đến hàng đài ra khơi. Truy cập www.startupwheel.vn để đăng ký tham gia ngay.
Thời thượng cùng bánh phô mai Castella từ Kidos Bakery, mềm mịn như mây. Phô mai hòa quyện. Kidos Bakery, thưởng thức thời thượng. Cùng Kidos Bakery mang đến hành trình tươi mới. Hiện đại cùng bánh chà bông sốt Singapore, chà bông đậm đà, sốt bơ béo thơm. Kidos Bakery, thưởng thức thời thượng.
Tương An Premium, tuyệt phẩm dầu đậu nành thượng hạng, đột phá với 7 bước tinh luyện công nghệ châu Âu, loại bỏ tạp chất có hại, lưu giữ tối ưu dưỡng chất, tinh khiết tuyệt đối, khám phá ngay.
Đời ngon như kem Merino và Celano, đời ngon như kem quay quần bên người thân bạn bè, đời ngon như kem Merino và Celano, đời ngon như kem nhâm nhi quê đi hết áp lực, đời ngon như kem ăn một miếng có sức bung lụa, đời ngon như kem Merino và Celano.
Đời ngon như kem Merino và Celano, thưởng thức ngay.
Khoảnh khắc nào ta thấy được vẻ đẹp giữa đời thường? Khi chuyện yêu ngày xưa vẫn lấp lánh đến hôm nay, khi mỹ quyền không cần khuôn mẫu, cá tính nào cũng tỏa sáng nét đẹp riêng. Khi tình thân thêm gần nhờ thấu hiểu, trao yêu thương bởi quan tâm chân thành. Đời thường đẹp từ những gói ghém thường ngày cho tương lai rộng mở. Đời thường đẹp từ những giá trị đẹp trong gian khó lan tỏa tốt lành. 35 năm rạng rỡ giữa đời thường, nhận về muôn niềm tin, chứng kiến ngàn vẻ đẹp. Chúng tôi tự hào khơi gợi cảm hứng cho mỗi người, tự tin yêu cái đẹp trong mình. Nuôi dưỡng giá trị đẹp của cuộc sống. Lan tỏa điều tốt đẹp đến cộng đồng. Để mọi vẻ đẹp đều được tôn vinh, để những khoảnh khắc đẹp bền bỉ theo năm tháng, để đời thường đẹp từ những chuyện đời rất thường. BSSC 35 năm giữ trọn niềm tin, tôn vinh vẻ đẹp.
tự động tạo, duyệt chi phí với quy trình tinh gọn. Bạn chỉ cần đưa QR code trên điện thoại để nhân viên quét. Chúng tôi sẽ tự động thu thập hóa đơn về ứng dụng nhanh chóng và dễ dàng, giúp doanh nghiệp quản lý chi phí chặt chẽ trên hệ thống ở cả hai phiên bản điện thoại và máy tính. Quản trị viên có thể quản lý toàn bộ danh sách thẻ với đầy đủ thông tin. Chúng tôi giúp doanh nghiệp chủ động kiểm soát ngân sách. Dashboard thể hiện trực quan ngân sách doanh nghiệp, tập trung giải quyết khó khăn quản lý chi tiêu doanh nghiệp ngay trên một nền tảng. Để mọi chi phí trong tầm kiểm soát của bạn, chọn BSSC, Thành Thời quản lý công ty.
Tech với sứ mệnh giúp doanh nghiệp quản trị hiệu quả và phát triển bền vững dựa trên sức mạnh tri thức công nghệ. Là tổ chức hàng đầu cung cấp giải pháp toàn diện trong quản trị và vận hành doanh nghiệp vừa và lớn như ERP Oracle Suite, ERP SAP, CRM, MES, Business Planning, Data Warehouse, IoT.
Bạn đam mê khởi nghiệp. Bạn muốn định vị dự án của mình trên bản đồ khởi nghiệp quốc tế. Bạn tin rằng dự án sẽ góp phần thay đổi thế giới. Startup Wheel, trình tăng tốc khởi nghiệp tốt nhất, cuộc thi khởi nghiệp lớn nhất Đông Nam Á, dành cho mọi đối tượng, không giới hạn độ tuổi, giới tính, địa lý, lĩnh vực. Môi trường huấn luyện khởi nghiệp chuyên sâu. Cơ hội trình bày, phản biện, thuyết phục nhà đầu tư. Thử thách về thương hiệu, thị trường, marketing, sàn giao dịch và đầu tư khởi nghiệp. Kết nối hệ sinh thái khởi nghiệp trong nước, khu vực, quốc tế. Tổng giá trị giải thưởng lên đến 10 tỷ đồng. Bảng Việt Nam. Một giải nhất 400 triệu đồng, một giải nhì 200 triệu đồng, một giải ba 150 triệu đồng, một giải dự án sáng tạo nhất 120 triệu đồng, một giải dự án được yêu thích nhất 30 triệu đồng, một giải sinh viên khởi nghiệp xuất sắc nhất 30 triệu đồng, một giải nữ founder xuất sắc nhất 30 triệu đồng, một giải thí sinh khởi nghiệp ấn tượng nhất 30 triệu đồng. Bạn quốc tế, tổng giá trị giải thưởng lên đến 2 tỷ đồng. Và những cơ hội tiếp cận các nguồn quỹ đầu tư tài chính hàng đầu, các nguồn lực tăng tốc khởi nghiệp uy tín trong và ngoài nước, các chương trình đào tạo khởi nghiệp hữu hiệu, chuyên sâu. Nguyên bản hay giao thoa, đa màu hay đơn sắc. Giờ là lúc Startup Wheel hiên ngang bước sang chương mới. Con tàu Startup Wheel đến hàng đài ra khơi. Truy cập www.startupwheel.vn để đăng ký tham gia ngay.
Thời thượng cùng bánh phô mai Castella từ Kidos Bakery, mềm mịn như mây. Phô mai hòa quyện. Kidos Bakery, thưởng thức thời thượng. Cùng Kidos Bakery mang đến hành trình tươi mới. Hiện đại cùng bánh chà bông sốt Singapore, chà bông đậm đà, sốt bơ béo thơm. Kidos Bakery, thưởng thức thời thượng.
Tương An Premium, tuyệt phẩm dầu đậu nành thượng hạng, đột phá với 7 bước tinh luyện công nghệ châu Âu, loại bỏ tạp chất có hại, lưu giữ tối ưu dưỡng chất, tinh khiết tuyệt đối, khám phá ngay.
Đời ngon như kem Merino và Celano, đời ngon như kem quây quần bên người thân bạn bè. Đời ngon như kem Merino và Celano, đời ngon như kem nhâm nhi quê đi hết áp lực. Đời ngon như kem ăn một miếng có sức bung lụa. Đời ngon như kem Merino và Celano. Đời ngon như kem, đời ngon như kem, đời ngon
như kem Merino và Celano. Thưởng thức ngay.
Khoảnh khắc nào ta thấy được vẻ đẹp giữa đời thường? Khi chuyện yêu ngày xưa vẫn lấp lánh đến hôm nay. Khi mỹ quyền không cần khuôn mẫu, cá tính nào cũng tỏa sáng nét đẹp riêng. Khi tình thân thêm gần nhờ thấu hiểu, trao yêu thương bởi quan tâm chân thành. Đời thường đẹp từ những gói ghém thường ngày cho tương lai rộng mở. Đời thường đẹp từ những giá trị đẹp trong gian khó lan tỏa tốt lành. 35 năm rạng rỡ giữa đời thường, nhận về muôn niềm tin, chứng kiến ngàn vẻ đẹp. Chúng tôi tự hào khơi gợi cảm hứng cho mỗi người, tự tin yêu cái đẹp trong mình. Nuôi dưỡng giá trị đẹp của cuộc sống. Lan tỏa điều tốt đẹp đến cộng đồng. Để mọi vẻ đẹp đều được tôn vinh, để những khoảnh khắc đẹp bền bỉ theo năm tháng, để đời thường đẹp từ những chuyện đời rất thường. BSSC 35 năm giữ trọn niềm tin, tôn vinh vẻ đẹp.
Busy tự động tạo, duyệt chi phí với quy trình tinh gọn. Bạn chỉ cần đưa QR code trên điện thoại để nhân viên quét. Chúng tôi sẽ tự động thu thập hóa đơn về ứng dụng nhanh chóng và dễ dàng, giúp doanh nghiệp quản lý chi phí chặt chẽ trên hệ thống ở cả hai phiên bản điện thoại và máy tính. Quản trị viên có thể quản lý toàn bộ danh sách thẻ với đầy đủ thông tin. Chúng tôi giúp doanh nghiệp chủ động kiểm soát ngân sách. Dashboard thể hiện trực quan ngân sách doanh nghiệp, tập trung giải quyết khó khăn quản lý chi tiêu doanh nghiệp ngay trên một nền tảng. Để mọi chi phí trong tầm kiểm soát của bạn, chọn Busy, Thành Thời quản lý công ty.
Giải thích với sứ mệnh giúp doanh nghiệp quản trị hiệu quả và phát triển bền vững dựa trên sức mạnh tri thức công nghệ. Là tổ chức hàng đầu cung cấp giải pháp toàn diện trong quản trị và vận hành doanh nghiệp vừa và lớn như ERP Oracle Suite, ERP SAP, CRM, MES, Business Planning, Data Warehouse, IoT.
Bạn đam mê khởi nghiệp. Bạn muốn định vị dự án của mình trên bản đồ khởi nghiệp quốc tế. Bạn tin rằng dự án sẽ góp phần thay đổi thế giới. Startup Wheel, trình tăng tốc khởi nghiệp tốt nhất, cuộc thi khởi nghiệp lớn nhất Đông Nam Á, dành cho mọi đối tượng, không giới hạn độ tuổi, giới tính, địa lý, lĩnh vực. Môi trường huấn luyện khởi nghiệp chuyên sâu. Cơ hội trình bày, phản biện, thuyết phục nhà đầu tư. Thử thách về thương hiệu, thị trường, marketing, sàn giao dịch và đầu tư khởi nghiệp. Kết nối hệ sinh thái khởi nghiệp trong nước, khu vực, quốc tế. Tổng giá trị giải thưởng lên đến 10 tỷ đồng. Bảng Việt Nam. Một giải nhất 400 triệu đồng, một giải nhì 200 triệu đồng, một giải ba 150 triệu đồng, một giải dự án sáng tạo nhất 120 triệu đồng, một giải dự án được yêu thích nhất 30 triệu đồng, một giải sinh viên khởi nghiệp xuất sắc nhất 30 triệu đồng, một giải nữ founder xuất sắc nhất 30 triệu đồng, một giải thí sinh khởi nghiệp ấn tượng nhất 30 triệu đồng. Bạn quốc tế, tổng giá trị giải thưởng lên đến 2 tỷ đồng. Và những cơ hội tiếp cận các nguồn quỹ đầu tư tài chính hàng đầu, các nguồn lực tăng tốc khởi nghiệp uy tín trong và ngoài nước, các chương trình đào tạo khởi nghiệp hữu hiệu, chuyên sâu. Nguyên bản hay giao thoa, đa màu hay đơn sắc. Giờ là lúc Startup Wheel hiên ngang bước sang chương mới. Con tàu Startup Wheel đến hàng đài ra khơi. Truy cập www.startupwheel.vn để đăng ký tham gia ngay.
Thời thượng cùng bánh phô mai Castella từ Kidos Bakery, mềm mịn như mây. Phô mai hòa quyện. Kidos Bakery, thưởng thức thời thượng. Cùng Kidos Bakery mang đến hành trình tươi mới. Hiện đại cùng bánh chà bông sốt Singapore, chà bông đậm đà, sốt bơ béo thơm. Kidos Bakery, thưởng thức thời thượng.
Tương An Premium, tuyệt phẩm dầu đậu nành thượng hạng, đột phá với 7 bước tinh luyện công nghệ châu Âu, loại bỏ tạp chất có hại, lưu giữ tối ưu dưỡng chất, tinh khiết tuyệt đối, khám phá ngay.
Đời ngon như kem.
Thank you very much.
Đời ngon như kem, Merino và Celano. Đời ngon như kem, nhâm nhi quê đi hết áp lực. Đời ngon như kem, ăn một miếng có sức bung lửa. Đời ngon như kem, Merino và Celano. Đời ngon như kem, đời ngon như kem.
Đời ngon như kem Merino và Celano, thưởng thức ngay.
Khoảnh khắc nào ta thấy được vẻ đẹp giữa đời thường? Khi chuyện yêu ngày xưa vẫn lấp lánh đến hôm nay. Khi mỹ quyền không cần khuôn mẫu, cá tính nào cũng tỏa sáng nét đẹp riêng. Khi tình thân thêm gần nhờ thấu hiểu, trao yêu thương bởi quan tâm chân thành. Đời thường đẹp từ những gói ghém thường ngày cho tương lai rộng mở. Đời thường đẹp từ những giá trị đẹp, trong gian khó lan tỏa tốt lành. 35 năm rạng rỡ giữa đời thường, nhận về muôn niềm tin, chứng kiến ngàn vẻ đẹp. Chúng tôi tự hào khơi gợi cảm hứng cho mỗi người, tự tin yêu cái đẹp trong mình. Nuôi dưỡng giá trị đẹp của cuộc sống. Lan tỏa điều tốt đẹp.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And the first song we want to give the honor of you is a sweet song, Sugar. And hope you guys enjoy this song. Down. I need your loving, I need it now. When I'm without you, I'm something weak. You got me begging, I'm on my knees. I don't wanna be needy your love, I just wanna be zippy your love. You scare me when you're away. Oh baby, cause I really don't care where you are, I just wanna be there where you are. And I gotta get one little stay. Sugar, yes please, won't you come and put it on me? I'm right here, cause I need little love and little sympathy. You show me good your loving, make it alright. Need the little sweetness in my life. But sugar, yes please, won't you come and put it on me? My broken beat, you beat 'em up. Don't leave me hanging, come give me some. When I without you, I'm so score. You are the one thing I'm living for. I don't wanna be needy your love, I just wanna be sippy your love. You scare me when you're away. Oh baby, cause I really don't care where you are, I just wanna be there where you are. And I gotta get one little stay. Sugar, yes please, won't you come and put it on me? I'm right here, cause I need little love and little sympathy. You show me good you love it, make it alright. Need the little sweetness in my life. Your sugar, yes please, won't you come and put it on me? I don't want the ready velvet, I don't want your sugar sweet. Don't let nobody just say a little somebody be. I gotta be a girl, then the harder way. Cause girl, you're hotter than ya, so like California Bay. I don't wanna play the game, I don't gotta be afraid. Look at me on that shine, you make up our sugar. Yes please, won't you come and put it on me? I'm right here, Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, on behalf of our organizers, we would like to send you our warmest greeting, and we hope that you're all ready for the final round international track Startup World Competition 2023. Ladies and gentlemen, InnoEx is an annual international event promoting innovation and growth for the business community of Vietnam and Southeast Asia. With the key theme Innovation and Green Economy, InnoEx 2023 has been officially endorsed by the Ho Chi Minh City People Committee and hugely praised by both the business and startup community. For 2 days and 2 nights on 24 and 25 August, we are expecting 20,000 visits from policymakers, head of government agency, regional VC and BE funds, as well as CEO and founders of large corporation and fast-growing startups. And Startup World is one of the largest, prominent, long-standing startup competition in Vietnam and the region, with thousands of startups selected globally over the past decade. And this year, aiming to offer new opportunities, creating a stronger foundation for sustainable growth and green solution for Vietnam and regional economy. Startup World 2023 collaborate with InnoEx, a highlight in grandstand of InnoEx 2023. Startup World 2023 is organized by the Business Startup Support Center, BSSC, co-organized by the Young Entrepreneurs Association of Ho Chi Minh City, YBA, and endorsed by the Vietnam Youth Federation of Ho Chi Minh City, the Department of Science and Technology of Ho Chi Minh City, and the Vietnamese Students Association of Ho Chi Minh City. Ladies and gentlemen, 2023 is the 11th year of Startup World, with 5 consecutive years welcoming international startups in a separate track. Well, to make it this far, our candidates have gone through a 6-month process. Yesterday, on this stage, top 50 startup international track have pitched successfully complete their pitch, followed by the booth visit from our board of judges. And today, top 5 will pitch and compete for the winner. So welcome all of you to the final round international track Startup World 2023. And in the program today, we are pleased to welcome and introduce Ms. Hằng Nguyễn, CEO of BSSC, head of the organizing committee. And please welcome Ms. Hà Thanh An, COO IBB, Giám đốc đối ngoại BSSC. Ladies and gentlemen, this year we are delighted to welcome startups from 33 countries in 5 continents, and Ms. Hà Thanh An, COO IBB International Relations Director of BSSC, will share her thoughts about these numbers. Please welcome her.
Some problem technically. Good afternoon again, ladies and gentlemen, startups and distinguished judges. Thank you so much for being here. I just want to quickly share with you a little bit about the journey that all brought us here today. So you probably have heard that Startup World, one of the largest startup competition in Vietnam. So we started in 2010, so that was like 13 years ago. And during the whole journey, we have been bringing Vietnamese startups abroad. So we brought them to Singapore, we brought them to Thailand, and then at one point we were thinking, okay, why don't we bring other countries to Vietnam, right? Because we have been saying, oh, Vietnam is very potential. We are the gateway to Southeast Asia. A lot of international companies and a lot of international startups wanted to go to Vietnam. So 5 years ago, we tried and started with the international track for Startup Wheel, and little that we know, it has grown and scaled to what we've seen today. So every year since the past 5 years, we receive roughly 250 applicants. 250 applicants from 35 countries. Could you imagine that? It shows something, right? Shows that Vietnam is right now, is like the attraction, not just from Southeast Asian countries, but around the world as well. And sometimes we received applicants from as far as Uganda, Nigeria, Ivory Coast. I don't even know that, we have startups in those countries. And so with all of that, what we're trying to do with the Startup Way International Track is to provide an opportunity for all the international startups who are looking at Vietnam as Southeast Asia as a potential market for themselves. And alongside with that opportunity, we're also trying to help you guys to answer a very strategic question of why. So before going to Vietnam, you could look at this and you could say, wow, this market is very potential. There's so many people here. But why should you enter Vietnam, right? Do you want to come here for market expansion? Do you want to come here to set up your operation, to hire the tech talents? Or do you want to come here and, find a distribution? So all of those are very different, will lead you to very different directions. And with those, and we understand that it's very important to answer your why as precisely as possible. So one of the other ways we do it is that we try to bring in experts, local experts, industry experts, investors, with both a world view and the local way of doing business. And we really think that this is going to be an incredible chance for all of you guys to connect to our experts, to our judges, so that you would answer your strategic why and find out the how of entering into Vietnam market. And for our judges today, I've seen so many familiar faces, so thank you so much for coming back to Startup Wheel. But there are new faces as well. So I just want to share with our board of judges is that when the international startup come into Vietnam, these are not early stage startup at all. These are companies who have raised funds and now seeking to expand to another country. So I think one of the very important criteria that I hope you would, help to evaluate is that their viability, their potential, whether their business may work in Vietnam or not. And maybe later on, I might ask you whether you could support them, in making new connection or got any feedback or comments for their business in Vietnam. So with all of that, I hope that we are going to enjoy this afternoon. We're going to enjoy this opportunity, and we want to see more of you guys here in Vietnam. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Hatane, for sharing your thoughts about our international track this year. Ladies and gentlemen, and now I would like to invite Top 50 Startup International Track to come on the stage. And due to the limit space, I will invite you to follow two sections. And now, please welcome Top 50 International Track Startup World 2023. Please come on the stage. Alitex, Alpha Circle, AdSafe, BB, Jojen Digital, Cluematic, Cretum, Crypto Arsenal, Dipping Sorts, Deskback, Fin2B, Hey Brob, Hoodoo Labs, Ho Stay, K-pop Vocal Coach, Lokin, Manga X Technology, Minimal Tech, M&M Hospitality, and Monditel. And I also would like to invite Miss Hằng Nguyễn and Miss Hà Thanh An will come on stage to give certificate and take photo with our top 50. And everyone, please give a big hand for the excellent performance from our startups. Everyone, once again, please give a big applause for our startup. Congratulations! You have done very well, and thank you our startup and our judges. And Miss An and Miss Hằng, please stay on the stage because we will come to the section 2. And now please welcome Top 50 International Track Startup World 2023 Section 2. Please come on the stage. Move Me, My Pro Guide, Near Brand, New Ein, Odam, Riverside, Field Duct, Brio Shop, Region Bio, Scanderm, Tour, Stable, Tunimotion, VACT, Voda AI, Yahoo Lab, and Zentry. Miss Hằng Nguyễn and Miss An Hào will give certificate to our startups. Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to our startup. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, and you can back to your seat now. Thank you. Thank you, our startup. You've done very well. Thank you, Miss Hằng Nguyễn and Miss An Hà. And please come back to the stage because right now it's our pleasure to introduce and invite our board of judges to come on the stage. Please welcome our board of judges for the final round of International Track Startup World 2023. Please welcome Ms. Hà Thanh An, co-founder and COO IBB, Mr. Louis Nguyễn, Chairman and CEO Saigon Asset Management, Ms. Michelle Messina, Business Strategy Advisor, Explorer International LLC, Ms. Nguyễn Phi Vân, Chairwoman Southeast Asia Angel Investor Network, Ms. Nguyễn Thanh Thảo, Senior Business Development Manager OneCom, Mr. Tuấn Nguyễn, Business Development Manager, Public Sector Startup, Asia Pacific and Japan, AWS. Mr. Yu Nguyên Vũ, Professor, Nanyang Technological University, Singapore. And we would like to invite Ms. Hằng Nguyễn to give flower to our Board of Judges. please give a big applause for our board of judges of the final round. Thank you. Thank you, and now you can back to your set. Thank you. Wow, and our startup, are you ready to know our top 5 today? I still cannot hear you. Are you ready? Woo, and now, only 5 of our startup will be moving closer to becoming the winner of International Track Startup World 2023. And now, we would like to announce top 5 in a random order. The first in the final top 5 is... Please congratulate Hoodoo Labs. Yes, please come on the stage. And the next startup come to the top 5 of the final round International Track Startup World 2023 is... Congratulations, Fin2B! Please come on the stage, Fin2B. Congratulations. We have 3 other slots. Wow. 3 spots left in our top 5 and 1 goes to Stable. And 2 more slots. Can you guess who will come to the 2 other slots? Please give a big hand for VACT. There are 46 remaining startups, but only 1 will go on to the next round. And the last in the final 5 is Regin Bio. And right now we would like to invite Miss Hà Thanh An will come, Miss Nguyễn Thị Diệu Hằng will come on the stage to deliver top 5 certificate to our excellent startups. Congratulations, our top 5, and ladies and gentlemen, please give another big hand. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your excellent performance. And now you can back to your set now to ready for the next part. Ladies and gentlemen, after we know our top 5, now we will come to the final round. Well, before we begin, please allow me to introduce the format of the final round International Track Startup World 2023. Each startup will have a 5-minute pitch followed by a 5-minute for Q&A with the judges. So our board of judges, we encourage short and straightforward questions from you. Thank you. And our startup, the countdown timer is displayed on the LCD screen in front of you over here, so please follow the time limit. And without further ado, please welcome our first startup, Hoodoo Labs. And the next startup prepared is Fin2B.
Hello everyone, it's very exciting. I didn't expect to pitch again. But anyway, so we made Betia English. This is an app that makes students speak in English many times. English is a global language. It is spoken everywhere. And as you see, 60% of our top 1 million websites are built in English. But some people master English, but some people don't. And when people master English, it is affecting even the salary range of Vietnamese people. Who speak better English, make more money. English is divided into reading, writing, listening, and speaking. But there are many things help people study reading, writing, and listening. But there is a very little resource to help them people to speak English, especially in Asia. So the problem is classes are boring, and then we can have very minimum time speaking English. That's the reason why many Asian people understand English but cannot speak in English. And speaking is very human dependent. So when there are good teachers, good quality education. When there's no good teachers, no good quality education. So we started to dream if we can make an RPG game with a proven academic content and also with the AI-powered voice recognition engine trained to understand the voice of the kids. So here comes Betia. A sound? It's okay. Yeah, you can see the quality of the content already. And he just said, I can speak English. So Betia English, I can say, is the most exciting way to keep students speaking in English. It is very engaging, it is very efficient, and it's very self-motivating. And market opportunity is huge. Only in Vietnam, we foresee about 1 million students potentially be benefited. And in the world, there's about 65 million students out there who can be benefited. And it is very working well. And this is a report of my own son. As you see, he spoke 159 sentences last week. He spoke 162 sentences 2 weeks ago. He spoke even 222 sentences 3 weeks ago. And not only my son, as you see, each user in Betia speak 11,000 sentences, and each time they stay for 35 minutes, and accumulated number of sentences that we dealt is more than 500 million pieces of data. And we are credited by Korean government, and last year we were chosen as a top app in Korea by Google Korea. And we launched our Nintendo Switch version in Japan last year, and now we are in Vietnam. We partnered with the VTC Online, and we launched our app service last week, and only within 3 days, we have already recorded 2,000 downloads. We are a team to be built to mind the learning gap using technology. And Betia is very unique because it's very scalable and it can provide a personalized learning. We have proven a solid growth in Korea, but this year is the first year that we are going outside of Korea, and Vietnam is our first overseas B2C market. These are the pictures of kids who are playing our games in Japan and Korea. Don't they look happy? So I want to help Vietnamese kids to experience this fun feeling of learning language through Betia English. So if you have a phone, please go download our service now. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Godolas, for your presentation. And now it's time for Q&A with our judges.
I'll start. Hello?
Yes.
Can you talk a little about your technology? How are you delivering this? So some of the key English-speaking apps like Duolingo or Elsa, how are you different?
It's very different because Duolingo and Elsa is a gamified learning, but we are a real game. So to kids is very attractive because it has a very high quality as other commercial games do. So we are a company spin off from NCSoft, which is the world's largest game maker in Korea. So we know how to make the game. And we embedded the attractive story they are using in a game to our game. And then we also built voice recognition engine, which helps the kids to speak in English to play the game. So they don't play with the hands or they don't play with the keyboard, but they need to speak to the character as they solve the mission in the game. And then we understand the kid's voice and react if, as they pronounced. Yes, Michelle.
I'd like to understand why you think you had, what was the key advantage within 3 days that gave you 2,000 downloads? Why do you think the product is so compelling to the market here?
That's actually thanks to our strong local partner, VTC Online. So VTC Online is our marketing, sales, the local partner. And they're the company who has invited the Korean games over the years to Vietnamese market, made them so successful. So we made our publishing partnership with the VTC Online, and out of the sales, we get the revenue share from them. So we are a small company, we're a tech company. So we are focusing, controlling the quality of a system and operating it stably. And VTC Online is in charge of sales, marketing, investment, and growing the business in Vietnam.
So the second part of the question is, you had 2,000 downloads in 3 days. How many of those are converting to paying customers?
So we are in the next week in Hanoi. We have the grand opening ceremony. So we are not yet grand open. So we are still at the free user session. So now we are focusing getting more traffic so that many people become aware of our game in Vietnam. Thank you.
Hi, Min.
Yes.
Yep, I have a question about the macroeconomic challenge that edtechs are facing. So during the pandemic, there is a lot of growth in edtechs across the region and the world.
Sure.
Now we are seeing a very sharp decline
Yes.
in demand, as
Yes.
you would appreciate.
Yes.
My question is, what would your plan be if such a slowdown in demand would actually be a challenge to your expansion in Vietnam?
Right. So as you said, even in Korea, like my company has soared up during the COVID-19, and then we grew a lot. But now, as you said, the market started to get back to the learning center-based learning. But the thing is, that's the reason why we are trying to get out of Korea. So the Korean market, even though it becomes 50% smaller, if we come to Japan, if you come to Vietnam, the market will be 3 times, 5 times, 10 times larger. So our intention is a digital service. And we can be expanded globally very fast. For example, Vietnam, we signed a contract in May, but we launched last week, which means it took only us 2.5 months to localize everything to serve Vietnamese kids. So we want to be a fast mover to a bigger market instead of waiting for your own market to be shrinked.
If there's still time, there's a related question that I want to ask. Would you need to have another round of investment fund to actually finance your expansion overseas?
We closed our Series B funding last year, and then now we are looking for the bridge funder to be accelerated for overseas expansion, as you said.
Do you have any intention to adopt a personalized education or, adaptive learning technologies into your product?
So not in Vietnam yet, but in Korea, we start to analyze the data of kids, and we start to provide a very specific report to the parents and the teachers. So now, before students come to classroom, the teachers already know about what pronunciation they got wrong, what pronunciation they got right. So it's more like an MRI or CT to the doctor. So they can know about the students better before they come to classroom through this.
So I would like to ask, when you bring your apps to Vietnam, how much customization you make when you enter the market?
Yeah, so we only localize the language, and then our local partner helped us out, and then we tried it in Japan. There are not much localization needed to go outside of Korea, but only the text part needs to be translated. That's the reason why how quickly we can move out of Korea.
So for the kids, which age is your target?
From 6 to 12.
6 to 12, only
yes.
6 to 12. Okay, thank you.
Two-part question. Number one, what is the defensible technology or intellectual property that you're having now that prevents other people from doing? And the second part is, what's your valuation?
My valuation last year was 60 million, and our the entering barrier is a high-quality game which takes 7 years to build the quality. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your presentation. And now, please welcome the next startup. Please welcome Fin2B.
Hello, my name is Duke Lee. I'm a CSO of Fin2B. Thank you so much for this opportunity to speak to you about our company and our passion. One more time. So Fin2B is a fintech company disrupting $20 billion supply chain finance market in Southeast Asia. SMEs are backbone of our economy, creating 2/3 of jobs. They are our family, friends, and our neighbors. And my father is also an SME owner. but they suffer from limited access to finance. And in times like this, uncertain times, they're first to starve from cash. So right now, I've heard that banks are closing their doors to a lot of SMEs. So even the best SMEs can go bankrupt with cash flow issues. Supply chain finance can support SMEs with efficient financing. It could be SME vendors of a large company, or it could be an SME dealer of a large company who have a relationship with a creditworthy enterprise we call anchors. Luckily, supply chain financing not only benefits SMEs, but it also benefits financial institutions. It allows them to manage your risk, increase your margin, and expand into SME segment effectively. So the market for supply chain financing is huge. There's about $3 trillion USD market worldwide, and Southeast Asia is growing fast. In fact, the emerging market in Southeast Asia is growing 11%. We believe that there's $20 billion market opportunity in Vietnam and Indonesia, two of the focus markets for FinTB. The challenges of supply chain financing is that first, is high transaction costs due to a lot of manual process. If you want to build a system, it costs a lot to build and also to maintain. And there's lack of awareness from the anchors. FinTB offers systematic approach, SaaS-based system, so that we can dramatically reduce the cost to serve. And also, we have a team in Hanoi to actively develop the market in Vietnam and to serve the local market. FinTB's SaaS-based approach allows dramatic reduction in the cost to launch, but more importantly, cost to maintain. Because a lot of financial institutions, when they develop their own system, they stopped using it after 3 years because of the cost of maintenance. So maintenance is the key issue we try to address. Our revenue model is based on one-time onboarding fee and transaction fee. So we have a partnership with our financial institutions to develop this market together. Our go-to-market strategy is a 3-step. First of all, there's a lot of Korean multinational financial institutions investing heavily in Southeast Asia. So we work with them to develop the process and also the system going into each market. So we developed the system for Vietnam with Sinan and Indonesia with Hana and so on and so forth. So our advantage is that we have a relationship with these Korean multinational banks who already recognize the usefulness of supply chain finance. And after that, with the already built system and the process, we expanded to the other Korean banks as well as the multinational banks, and then to the local banks. And lastly, we work directly with the conglomerates of this country to develop the market together. So we are working with the customer to develop the market at the same time. So in Vietnam, we're currently working with Sinan Bank and KB Bank, as well as Uri Bank and Mira Asset. They've been using our system for 3 years. Currently, we're speaking to a number of local banks, including BIDV and HD Bank. And also, we are working with Samsung Electronics and Hyundai, who's already our customer using our system in Indonesia and India to open their system to Vietnam. So we're currently serving 7 financial institutions in 3 markets in Southeast Asia, namely Vietnam, Indonesia, and India. So our transaction volume early last year was about $3 million USD. It's grown 17-fold. So early this year, it has been around $50 million USD. So our monthly transaction volume is about $20 million USD today. FinTB's leadership is IT and finance experts, led by Sang-Soon Park, who used to be managing director at BCG, advising Korean financial institutions for the last 20 years to innovations in the finance sector.
Thank you, FinTB.
Thank you so much.
And now it's time for Q&A. You have 5 minutes.
Hi, thanks for the presentation. My first question would be, so your market is a B2B market, the institutions, right? Today, you have 7 institutions using your technology or SaaS platform. Why 7? Why not more than that? And how long have you been actually promoting this platform in these 3 countries?
Yes, so B2B business itself, one of the biggest challenge for us it's a long process to acquire customers. So yeah, we are there's a lot of opportunities right now that we're exploring and to develop, and then we believe that it will come soon. But 7 today is because of the long the sales cycle, first of all, and also during COVID-19, we were not able to travel outside, so we're mainly working with Korean financial institutions who have interest in Southeast Asia. But actually, starting from early this year, we actually are out again. We have increased our staff in Vietnam so that we are more actively managing the market. And yeah, we have opportunities coming up that will add to Vietnamese local banks.
So you've been in talk with 3 different banks in Vietnam. What are some of the key challenges that the banks have pointed out for you when entering Vietnam as a market?
Yes. So Vietnamese banks are not aware of this supply chain finance opportunity. They are also aware, but some of them may not be so eager about the opportunity. Some of them are eager, but they already have experience developing their own system. So some of them have developed their own system, but they're not using it right now because of the maintenance issue. So supply chain financing is a business process, largely business process, not banking process. So every time you go into a new industry, you work with new anchors, you have to actually modify your system and be more inclusive to provide a better and more powerful interface to the acquired anchors. And they fail to do that because you cannot keep banking staff to constantly modify the supply chain finance system. So their main pain point is maintenance of the system. And also, like right now, we are in competition for one of the banks right now in the tendering process, but their concern is that they want to have a proven system, which we have a proven system. The key challenges for any financial product is the local regulations. And it has been changing in Vietnam multiple times, since we came. So I mean, so we opened our system 3 years ago. It's a third revision to reflect the changes. It's for the better, actually, because Vietnamese governments also recognize the power of supply chain finance. They've been modifying their decree to make it easier for the digital system to make innovations. So we have a process that has optimized for Vietnam and streamlined, because you don't want to make systems so complicated. You only protect the bank. It has to be easy for the customer to use. So the fact that we have been market proven, as well as we have already developed it, lowering the cost, and also we will maintain the system for them. It's actually a big value proposition for the local banks.
Hi, Mr. Lee. I have 2 quick questions for you. Okay. But I think in the interest of time, maybe I'll just ask one.
Okay, sure.
A lot of the banks in the region have actually been introducing green financing options to SMEs. Do you think that this is going to be an advantage that such banks would have over your platform?
So, sorry, so the bank has been providing
sustainable finance,
yes.
Options to SMEs? Yep.
Yes,
so for example, UOB, OCBC have been talking about that a lot. So yes. What is your thinking about the rising demand for sustainable financing for SMEs?
I totally agree with you. So I think part of the sustainability is that bank needs to manage their risk, right? So a lot of times banks manage their risk by cutting off their supply of fund to SMEs first whenever time is rough. They're doing that right now, actually. We have talked to a lot of banks who actually are reducing their portfolio in small and medium-sized enterprise. But we're actually removing the risk from the small and medium-sized enterprise to the anchors. So anchors are much more stable. So this form of financing allows them to be more stable in terms of, through riding out the fluctuation of the business cycle. So I think we are very much in line with the sustainability of finance, because you're actually removing the risk from the small and medium enterprise to the large companies. So you're actually be looking at Hyundai's credit risk compared to Hyundai dealers' credit risk. Thank you for the question.
One question: you use collateral as receivables and assets, right?
Yes.
How do you qualify them when you're from another country?
to another country.
Well, you're coming to Vietnam, right? How do you qualify receivables and assets of a foreign country? How do you qualify it?
Of the foreign country, yeah, of course, that's a good question. So this supply chain finance can be cross-border, of course. And cross-border will have the most impact. So I think that will be our next step.
My point is, how do you know it's real?
Yes, so if it's not cross-border, if it's inside Vietnam, so we work with the anchors. Anchors provide the data to us. So that's the automatic authentication, right?
Thank
you so much.
Thank you, our Board of Judges, and thank you, Fin2B. And now please welcome our next startup, Stable. And Viact, please prepare.
Hello. Happy Friday, everyone. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm really glad to be here for the second time on stage. And thanks for the opportunity to represent my fellow women in tech as well. So, my name is Hannah. I represent Staple, and we are an AI company based in Singapore. We develop a technology to read, interpret, and extract data from any documents in any languages. So right now we are in 40 countries, and we are a tech partner of big enterprise software companies such as SAP and the likes. Now, the problem that we help our clients to solve is a problem revolving around data, or really the lack of clean and standardized data. It's a problem that we thought existed a long time ago and would have been solved a long time ago, but yet it's still existing. It's because of the fact that documents are being generated by computer and then read by another computer. And when using human efforts and resources to convert documents into data, this is highly time-consuming as well as error-prone. Essentially what Staple does is we bring what we call dark data, your unstructured and your semi-structured data, to the surface, ensuring that our clients receive clean and standardized data that they can use to make further actions. This is how Staple is positioned. We position ourselves to take on the very first mile of documents processing, and we incorporate AI, machine learning, and natural language processing into our approach. And what it does is it would increase accuracy, decrease processing time, and it would help with the scalability of any use cases that our enterprise customer would have. We also support more than 100 languages, and that's why our enterprise clients love Staple. Yesterday I have shared about how we have taken on the process of document processing up until a point where you export data. So this is what the Staple's user interface looks like. You can see any document types can be imported into Staple, and we will have a no-code platform that will enable you to build AI model for any documents-intensive workflow that an enterprise company would have. It's highly flexible. So this is where we are right now, and I have shared that we are working continuously to improve our product with a generative AI theme in mind. So what we are doing right now is to enable the ability to talk to your data and your documents. So for example, if you look at a claim processing workflow, what you can do is you can have a natural language to actually prompt the system, and what Staple would do is we will pull out the right data in a second for you. So this is a very exciting time, and we look forward to continuously helping our enterprise clients to leverage their data to make the right decision every day. We are currently deployed in more than 40 countries, partnering with organizations such as global banks, Big Four, and MNC organizations as well. We are raising a round at the end of 2023, and we're seeking for opportunity to connect with yourself for any insights, investment opportunities, as well as commercial opportunities. Thank you so much.
Thank you, very stable. And our judges, you can have questions for our startup now. Thank you.
So I have two questions. I want to understand how long your average sales cycle is, and I also want to understand your average deal size. And actually, there's three questions. And how are you typically getting your new sales leads? So sales leads, sales cycle, and average deal size.
So with the scale of our clients that we are looking at right now, sales cycle typically takes around 3 to 6 months up to a year for financial institutions who have more thorough processes. That's the sales cycle. Now, in terms of the deal size, we are looking at least a 6-figure deal for our standard product. Of course, we will have a customized implementation period that will customize for each and every customer's needs. But we do look for something that is substantial, that we can continuously reinvest into developing our product further. Mm-hmm.
And the last part of the question was, how do you get your new sales leads?
Yeah. So far, we have found that inbound as well as outbound enterprise approach works for us up to this point of time. But as we scale, as we grow, we do partner really well with partners as well. So software partners such as SAP or system integrator, consultancy firms like EY. So this is something that we are looking at and focusing on right now to scale faster. Thank you.
I have a question. What is your maximum rate of unable to process documents?
Unable, you say, yeah. So we understand that when it comes to document processing, accuracy is very important. So we do look at least like a 90 or a higher 90% of the ability to process documents and data in an accurate manner. So the rest, a few percent. We have our user interface to actually enable the AI to continuously learn. And then from that process, we will fill up the gap and become more efficient and accurate with time and usage.
Can you precise what is the few percentage? What is mean by few?
Around 5%, I'd say, for our typical use cases. Yeah.
Are you able to process multi-language?
Yes.
Okay.
So this is very, something. This is exactly why we are in this part of the world, because we understand that the nuances around operating in various countries with various languages and complicated scripts, Vietnamese, Thai, Japanese, and so on, is a challenge that not a lot of solutions out there can address. So this is something that we have spent a lot of time and effort into developing the solution on.
How long you been around? What's your revenue last year and what are you expecting this year?
Sure. So we started just before COVID, so 4 years now. We grew our ARR by six times over the period of last year to this year. And we do foresee, a lot of scalability or growth opportunity in the year to come.
So are you being polite and not telling me your revenue?
This is, of course, when it comes to the investment stage, we would have to disclose to you. So, yes.
Yep. I really like how you are using generative AI for your solution, but at the same time, generative AI is actually enabling a lot of your customers to develop the in-house solution for their document processing and analysis. Yeah. Do you think that would actually present a big challenge for your growth in the near future?
Great question. We are not here to replace our clients' team or replacing human headcount. So what we strive to do is to enable our clients with this right tool and capability for them to further enhance their internal capabilities. So with our no-code platform, with the generative AI approach, we want to enable them and really not, it's not one or another, if that makes sense.
Have you received any support from the government? I mean, Singaporean government?
We are in talks with the Singapore government. We understand that government needs to have privacy controls and governance. So this is something that we're working on right now to adapt to that government commercial cloud. And yeah, working on that.
Thank you, Stable, and thank you a lot, our board of judges. And now please welcome our next startup, Viet. The startup prepare is rich in bio.
Hi, judges. So, I'm Hugo, the co-founder of Viet. So, basically, many businesses starting from an idea or research. Our story begins from an accident. Back to many years ago, I'm working in a construction firm. One day in the early morning, my colleague telling me that the subcontractor who sits next to me has been passed away because he is falling down from heights. This very sad but very true experience triggered me and my co-founder to starting this venture. We strongly believe that safety is not an option, but a must to make sure everyone's workplace sustainable. So construction is the second largest industry in the world, following finance. But there's so many problems related to environmental pollution, security, safety. And one of the problems, corporate governance, is lacking behind every industry in the world. So these kinds of problems making a huge loss to a city or to a country every year. We as a ESG-focused AI car monitoring platform, we integrate any devices like IoT sensors, cameras, and robotics in order to provide holistic monitoring solutions. Using React is very simple. We can connect any kinds of IP cameras with our AI car or Edge AI. So our AI car, our algorithms, can understand the scenarios between people's, machineries, vehicles, and materials. In the customer end, they will receive an instant alarm to alert the workers from dangers. Also, we can provide API and also using our cloud dashboard for the data visualization. Using React is very simple, 3 steps. Connect your camera with our AI, log into our platform, then you can waiting for the result. It's easy to automate your manual monitoring process by now. As the leading AI company in the world, we starting our R&D back to 2016. We developed the world's first scenario-based AI algorithms and developed over 60 pre-built AI modules. We processing over billions of images every day, and we deploy over hundreds of projects in Asia, Middle East, and Europe right now. Our vision and story widely spread from media, interviews, and research journals in the world. And we're starting the business in Asia. Now we want to spread our footprint to the world, and we are well recognized by some tech giants, such like Google and Autodesk. The go-to-market strategy is very simple. We sell our solutions in a monthly subscription per camera, per AI module. And we are now selling through our channel partners, system integrators, and corporates as well. Why our journey is so successful? Because of my team. My innovative and deep research team coming from Vietnam, India, Hong Kong, and Singapore. All of them are IoT AI expertise, and I and my co-founder Gary is studying building and civil engineer. Before that, we are the top management of some MNC and listed technology company in US. 2 years ago, we already closed our seed round. Despite the threats of the pandemic and the economic downturn, now we are already making profit. Now we are ready to invest more money in Vietnam and starting our business here. So we are looking to connect with the Vietnam government or enterprise here to talk with us and see how can we help them to engage and enable their safety and sustainability. I'm Hugo, the CEO and co-founder of Viet. Thank you.
Thank you, Viet. And now it's time for Q&A. Our judges, you can have questions.
Okay, I may want to start then. People say that when you can do it large, you can do it small. Do you have any intention to downscale your application or your product in order to enlarge your market, for example, to the mass market?
Very good question. I mean, the technology itself is still evolving, AI itself. And we can see because the benefit of the chips innovation is getting more easier to get into, more cheaper. So talking about the cost of using AI, we can foresee the next 5 to 10 years will be very, very cheap, which means that even the mass market, the end users, can using this kind of AI, using the computer vision, would be very easy. I hope that because just for safety, it's not just for the construction or for the industrial market, but for the general market or even for the end users, they still need this kind of technologies.
I think it could be transformed into surveillance application.
Yeah, that's true. I think we have developed over like 50 to hundreds of use cases deployed in different industries. And we are exploring more and more. And we can see the market is evolving. And people come back to us, they have many, many creative ideas how to using this AI. Yeah.
Hi, Hugo.
Yeah.
How do you feel your chances are in Vietnam now that the real estate and construction sectors are slowing down significantly?
Yeah. As I know, Vietnam, they are developing their new airport, right? I think like every countries, in the economic downturn or even their upscales, infrastructure, building infrastructure, construction is a must. So even in Hong Kong, even in Singapore, there are different markets. But the government needs to spend on infrastructure to building a smart city or sustainable city. So for us, the potential is here. The point is, the challenge is, how can we downstream the price to let everyone to use it? So I'm not very afraid of the demand, just like what we deploy our solutions even in India. So I mean, back to your question, even Vietnam, maybe they will reduce the amount of invest in the construction, but still there is so many things to build. Yeah.
Do you think there are other industries that your solution could be applied in?
You mean in the constructions or?
No. So for example, in manufacturing, for example, right? Yeah. They also think about that.
Yeah, you asked a very good question. We already do it. We have some use cases partnering with some large enterprise in Europe to making our AI deployed in their manufacturing plant. Even in mining, oil and gas, different industries. As long as they need safety, we can help. Yeah.
I would love to introduce you to someone soon.
Good. Let's talk.
Actually, it's very interesting idea, and I think it's work in Vietnam market, very potential. But I would like to ask, when you do the monitoring, the alert, how can you support for the urgent situation?
Oh, very good questions. Yeah. So, as I mentioned, we have different kinds of use cases. For safety, definitely we need an instant alarm to alert the workers. So, in that sense, we will provide a local alarm, even installed on the job site, so that immediately, for example, like 0.5 seconds, you will getting the alert. We have a use cases install everything in the crane moving plant, and when it comes to detecting the people very close to the plant, the alarm will triggering and alert the operators. Then they will stop the machinery because it can so many death cases because of the crash before. Yeah.
So I have two questions. Is your customer typically the developer or the contractor on a construction site? And then secondly, what is the price point again? I don't think I heard that.
Okay, very good question. Nowadays, our customer base is very broad, from property developer, from main contractors to general contractor, even the subcontractor as well, because there is so many different use cases we can help. But on the other hand, for manufacturing, we can discuss with the facility management, even the owners of the mining, the industries as well. Yeah. And for the cost, FH deal size I think is around USD 30K to 50K is the FH deal size. It depends on how many cameras they use. Yeah.
How are you sustainable? You mentioned this is the S part in ESG.
Sustainable because to many people, honestly, nowadays they are talking about new energies, green energies. But what we see, we are using the camera to help them to protect the environment. For example, give you an example. We help a government to detect the water pollution, whether the discharge point will discharge some polluted water to the ocean. We're using the camera to help them to do remote monitoring. Once there is a polluted water discharged to the ocean, we alert the in charge so that it can help them to prevent. And also like illegal dumping, so many waste management, we can using the camera to do it. So this is one kind of it to prevent the environment become polluted. Yeah.
Is there any question for our startup?
Financial, revenue, profit, valuation.
Okay. Yeah, we are raising our Series A round. And last one we raised 2 million. Nowadays we are talking about 8 million because we want to use the money to expand over the world. And for the valuation we are looking for like 30 million. Yeah. But definitely we can talk. Yeah, it's feasible nowadays. I know. Yeah.
And thank you, Vex, for your presentation today. Thank you, our judges. And now please welcome our last startup, Region Bio.
This one's the next slide.
Hi everyone, I'm Shanapun from a startup called Moo. Let's make it a little bit interactive here. We're making cow's milk with our cows. So first of all, anyone here drink milk or coffee or tea with milk? Please raise your hand up. Yeah, thank you very much. As we've seen, milk is an important food for people, but we have problems with cow's dairy. First of all, cow's milk contains lactose, hormones, and antibiotics. Secondly, we torture animals to maximize the production. And third, cow's farming uses a lot of resource and it contributes enormously to greenhouse gas. But the alternative that we have, like plant-based dairy, are not solutions. Because 75% of people still love the taste of cow's milk. So we think of a different approach, which is making cow's milk in a better way. And in milk, there are 4 major components, which are milk protein, fat, sugar, and water. And actually, taste and texture of milk come from protein called casein and whey. And we're gonna make this protein by using microbes and precision fermentation. And this is how we do it. We start by inserting milk protein DNA sequence into the microbes, giving them the ability to produce cow's milk protein. And then we ferment the microbes, let them produce protein. And then we purify the protein into powder and take the powder to formulate into milk or any kind of dairy products. With this process, we create milk that tastes the same, but even better. Better for health, no hormones, antibiotics, cholesterol, or even lactose. Better for animal, we don't torture animal anymore. And better for the planet, we can reduce up to 90% of environmental impact. And here is our first prototype. It tastes 70 to 80% like cow's milk, and we're working hard on that with a better formulation. Our business model is to be B2B ingredient supplier. So we're gonna sell our products to B2B partner, including dairy company, food and beverage manufacturers, and coffee chain. And currently we receive interest from many companies, including the big names like Nestle, Lotte from Korea, and Meiji in Thailand. because it's a promising technology and there are around 30 startups working on this globally. But we have 4 key advantages that will make us stand out in Asian market. First of all, majority of startups are in the US and in the Europe, but we are among the first in Asia. And this gives us the first chance to connect with B2B partner and go through regulation challenge before others. Secondly, being based in Thailand gives us with the cheap skilled labor, cheap raw material, and minimize logistic costs when we shipping to other Asian countries. And third, we have large-scale facility available on demand, so we don't have problems finding scale-up facility or having to raise a lot of money to buy equipment. And last but not least, we are Asian, so we understand culture, we understand consumer. That's a very important thing in food business, right? And we started the company in 2021, and we developed the first prototype last year. Currently, we are scaling up in the pre-pilot. And next year, we plan to achieve the pilot plant scale, and then we're going to start FDA approval after that. And in 2025, we launched with B2B partners. So along the way, we show potential by being selected into accelerator programs and won awards from many countries, including Singapore, Japan, Hong Kong, Thailand, and China. Our team consists of 9 people with 3 founders. I'm Chanapon, the CEO. I used to work as a process engineer, and I have experience founding a startup. My co-founder are James, a strategy development scientist, and Jack, who has 10 years in marketing experience with a company like Apple and TikTok. And we have 6 scientists with 3 tech advisors to make this happen. And of course, Vietnam is our ideal destination because of the growing population and rising dairy market. And this country is suitable to be a production hub as well. So our go-to market is, of course, B2B partnership. So by the end of this year, we're going to explore regulation, safety, food safety regulations in Vietnam. And hopefully by the next year, we're going to connect with commercial partner, which could be local dairy producer or local coffee chain. And by Q3 next year, we want to do product trial with them with the expect to launch into the market in Vietnam in 2025. So at the end of this year, we plan to raise a seed round of $1.8 million. The money will be used to scale up the production to pilot plant, do FDA approval, and conduct product trial with B2B partner. So please join us and create a more sustainable food future and establish the better world for the future generations. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And our judges, please have question for Richard Bio now.
Janapo,
Yes.
congratulations. It's a very interesting concept that you've got there. I'm not sure I'm going to drink milk from the lab, or I continue to drink plant-based milk because my almond milk that I make every day tastes pretty good. So my first question would be, how do you enable the consumers to accept such a foreign concept of a lab-based milk? You know, for it to become a very popular product in the future. And my second question would be, you talk about potential deals, but has any of the large manufacturers or food and beverage, you know, companies, you know, put their foot down and sign a contract?
Okay. Let me address by questions. So the first question, yes, I agree with you. It is going to be a challenge that we have to convince consumer to buy this kind of products. So that's the reason why we're going to B2B partnership, because, you know, with the partnership with big corporates, they have influence to tell the market that, okay, this is a safe product, this is a good product for consumption. And another way is that we can tell the, you know, like consumer that actually this technology has been around for quite a while. I mean, like, you know, like insulin that we, you know, inject into our body for people with diabetes, it's been produced by this way as well. So, I mean, like this technology is here for a while, but it's because of the advancement in technology, the cost come down. So we see more application with, for example, like food. So that's going to be a way that we're going to, you know, like educate our consumer that it's safe to eat as well.
So your product is actually going to be an ingredient in other products. Is that my understanding? That's what the B2B partnerships are?
Correct.
Okay. So in that case, then, how would your wholesale price point compare to wholesale dairy price point? At this juncture, you're not at full capacity yet, so how are you projecting the cost? Okay. So currently at the first phase, it's going to be like 3 to 4 times higher than the conventional cow's milk, which is roughly a little bit higher than plant-based milk products.
So that's going to be the price point that, okay, maybe we have to sell to the premium market first. But, you know, like with technology advancement and the mass scale production, the cost could come down to the price parity with cow's milk.
And the second question is, are you working with any of these large food and beverage manufacturers in addition to maybe some product development teams that are outside those particular companies to look at all the spectrum of applications that you can have for a product like this?
Okay. So I haven't contact with any Vietnamese, so this is the first time I'm here, so I'm looking to contact with Vietnamese dairy producer. But I've been working with, you know, like Korean dairy producer, Thailand, and Nestle, which is like around the global region. So we are working on that to see the applications. The first application we are looking would be like drinking milk, a yogurt, and maybe confectionery. Yes. And to address your question, sorry, the first question, I forget to answer your questions. So currently we have signed and, you know, like letter of intent with some big companies which I cannot disclose to do product trials.
Okay, Chanapo?
Yes?
The cow wouldn't be happy anyway. But I think that is a good push for the environment because the society will eat less cows and that is a good for the environment. I like it anyway. You project your launch of product in 2025.
Correct.
That means 2 years from now. Why it takes so long time? Is there any way to accelerate the process?
Okay. So the challenge of this technology and those biotech technology is that regulations. So since it's a very new kind of food, it's fall into the things called novel food, which I mean like it's a food that has no historical use in human. So FDA in many countries requires to do animal trial in terms of like toxicity, taste, allergenic taste. So that takes a very long time. And is there any way to accelerate this process? Yes, but it has to come from governments. So for example, like in Thailand, this process could take like, you know, 1 to 1.5 years to get, you know, approval. But for Singapore or the US, which push very highly on this alternative protein, they, you know, reduce the timeline down to 6 months to 1 year.
So to follow on to that question, is there any data associated with human beings ingesting this particular type of microbe?
Yes, the type of microbes has to be, they call it GRAS, which means generally recognized as safe. So
Okay.
the FDA, like around the world, agree with the list of microbes that, okay, this is a list of microbes that human can eat. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you, Regine Bio. And thank you, our top 5. Really excellent, all of your performance. And now, before wrapping the final round, we have a very short sharing section from our board of judges, and Ms. Hà Thanh An will host this section. Please welcome.
Thank you. I'm not going to go on stage because I just want to, first of all, thank you so much for all these startups. Thank you all top 50, thank you all top 5 for your excellent presentation, for your very active participation. It's really our pleasure to have you. This is the end of the international track, by the way. So before our judges sort of wrap it up, I just want to ask all the judges a little bit for your comment, for your feedback in general. I mean, you've just listened to very, very different companies. They're from Korea, Hong Kong, Thailand, Singapore, in many different. What is your general thought? And if there is one advice that you could give to the 5 startups, what would it be? And I don't know if this is possible, but is there any startup that you would like to, you know, connect afterwards to support them in their journey? May I start with Anne-Louise? Would you mind? Because you're closest to me.
Do I need to stand up? Hello, everyone. I'm Louis Nguyen. I'm with Saigon Asset Management. I'm pleased to be here. It's nice to see all the good companies. Very impressed with the companies that presented. I guess for someone like me, we've done listened to so many deals and pitches. So this is kind of normal. It's like hundreds and thousands over my lifetime so far. But I guess one thing is, each entrepreneur, they have their own way to present. but sometimes they don't cover the basics, right? So sometimes they don't talk about the team, how they came together, how they found the history of the company. Some companies talk about the founders, the other one didn't. Some people talk about financials, others didn't. That's very important to us as financial people. Like sometimes it's sensitive to talk about revenue and profit. That's right. That's fine, but you don't have to evade the question. You should say, we're not to discuss that right now. We're in the growth stage. We'd love to talk to you when you sign an NDA. That's very professional. So each company would have different way to present. But for us, it's going to be key, like the history, how you came together, what market size are you addressing, how are you different? What makes one of the questions I asked the guy the last time was, what would stop you from other company doing something the same tomorrow? What is your defensible technology? Are you first to market? How you answer that? And lastly, we always want to know the financials. How are you doing? Early stage, we're pre-revenue, we're almost break even, something, it's okay. And valuation, that's very sensitive to talk in a public forum like this, but we will ask those questions and see how you answer. If you answer in a very professional way, say, yeah, I like that, I want to see them again. So last thing is, we have an angel group, an informal angel group that we're a fund management company, we manage assets, but we also have an angel group that very active and professional angels. Actually, they invited this group to come to their home. At your convenience, the group of investors are interested in supporting companies that are inbound into Vietnam or within Vietnam. So hopefully that helped. Thank you.
And hopefully there's some startup that may contact Mr. Lewis afterwards. Anh Vũ, maybe you want to share a little bit with all the international startups?
Good afternoon or evening already. It's afternoon, I think. My name is Vu. I'm Vu Duong. I'm a professor from NTU Singapore. So you see, my background is academic. I'm not in business anyway, but I started innovation and entrepreneurship in education in Vietnam. I started the first hackathon in Vietnam back in 2011. So you know a little bit about that and have a lot of discussion about with you and everything. For your startup, I think I'm more interested in your potential rather than just the product that you are doing right now. The product we are doing right now, you based on a certain background, but that background can leapfrog to something else. You can downscale, you can upscale, you can do whatever, and then you add in new technology, something like that. So I'm more interested on that part because my background is more or less more innovation than business. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, anh Vũ. And chị Phi Vân, maybe want to share a little bit. And chị Phi Vân also have a network of angels, investors. And I think that's very important. They don't just have capital, but also market expertise. So chị Phi Vân, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so hi everyone. First of all, I'd like to taste that milk. I'm still thinking about it because it's very lab-based, but maybe it tastes good. Anyway, so if you have your prototype anywhere in Vietnam at some point, I'm happy to taste it and to see if there's potential for it in Vietnam. To the rest of the startups, I think you're mature startups already. You've got funding, you've been in different countries, even 40 different countries, so you should not be in a startup competition. This is more like a market acceleration sort of presentation. So we're here, we're in Vietnam, and if you need any support in terms of learning more about the changing landscape of Vietnam, especially in legal, for the fintech companies, and if you need support to connect with different associations or developers or distributors or tech partners, you know who to talk to, and she'll be able to connect yourself to us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, chị Vân. And yeah, I think the startup competition is just one way that we make it, attractive and familiar, so that all you guys can apply. But as you could see, you come here not just having the competition, right? You have your booth, you have loads and loads of people coming, and this is also a chance for you to test whether the Vietnamese market is ready and welcoming your product. So maybe chị Thảo, can you share a little bit about your general comment and feedback for the international startups?
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. So I'm from Qualcomm Technology Global Leader Companies in the US, and in our corporation, we also have some innovation challenge from Vietnam, India, and Taiwan. Yeah. So it's really interesting today because I see a lot of great presentation and a lot in deep tech, my favorite. Okay. So from my perspective, I agree with all the sharing from other churches, but for me, for all the staff, when you come into Vietnam, I would like to remind you to pay attention to building your networks. I believe that in Vietnam's earning trust and personal connection are really important for you to set up the new business, because I know that all of you are well prepared in tech, in team, and in localize your products. And showing the staff will, I believe that you are on mature company, showing this competition is a very good platform that you can leverage the relationship from BSSC, IPP, to come to the all stakeholder in Vietnam, from the corporation, from the staff community, and even from the governments. Okay, thank you and good luck for all.
Thank you, Chị Thảo. And you guys don't forget to get the business card from all churches, right? Michelle, can you share a little bit? Michelle has listened to 7,000 startup pitches, so she may have a thing or two to share with all of you guys.
So my first thing is, my name is Michelle Messina. I'm based in Silicon Valley, California. I want to congratulate all the startups that presented today because they all did an excellent job. My biggest issue with, I think, each one of the startups is that I did not understand enough about your go-to-market strategy in Vietnam, your sales strategy, how you're going to close customers, and you may have noticed that I was asking about sales cycle, deal size, things like that, because that is the core to building your business. And I would recommend to all the companies presenting today in the future that you think much more practically and tactically about how you communicate to the judges what your deal size is, how long it takes you to close a deal, which is your sales cycle, and how you're going to make money going forward, because that is so important to the growth and success of your business, and that's what investors look for, is momentum. So the faster your momentum increases, the bigger your deals are, and the more customers you're adding over a regular basis. That's the most important part. So focus on sales cycle, deal size, and the sales aspects of your business in your presentations.
Thank you so much, Michelle. And also, it will help us as well. I mean, if we understand like your sales strategy, direction, what you need in Vietnam, it's going to be so much quicker for us to support you in that regard. And last but not least, Tuấn, our partner from AWS in Singapore. So if you want to expand to Singapore, he is the contact, right? Tuấn, maybe have a thing or two to share.
Thank you. I have to say that it is a privilege for me to actually have listened to the 5 startup pitches so far. And I want to say this, coming from a technology firm, I think technology is the easier part of your success. What I have observed working with thousands of startups in the region is that the 2 determinants of success for the startups would be regulations and the mindset and the behaviors of your customers in whichever market that you go through. So my role at AWS is to work with a lot of public sector organizations, with VCs across the region, and we continually push not only for technology to be developed, but for regulators to understand how to work with startups, how to be more risk-taking, and not be so adverse to, say, milk technology that might not be familiar with customers around the region. So I have to say, focus more on your understanding of markets, especially the ones that are in Southeast Asia, and have fun.
And thank you so much, Tuấn. And I think having fun is also very important, right? Now that we have wrapped up the competition of Startup with International Track. Once again, thank you so much, our churches, and thank you so much, our international startup, for your time and for your coming here. It's the end of this section, so please wait
for the result that's going to be announced this evening. And I think it's time for you guys to come up here and get acquainted with our judges, right? Thank you so much once again, guys. Thank you and see you this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, our judges. Thank you, our startup. And thank you, everyone. And tonight at 6 p.m. on the first floor, we will know the winner of International Track Startup World 2023 at the closing ceremony. So I hope to see you there and enjoy the InnoEx 2023. Thank you, everyone.